Well, hello, friends and neighbors. Dr. Ken Berry with you here today. So many of us believe things that just aren't true, things about medicine, about nutrition, about health. We were either taught it by our mama or our grandmother or someone we trusted. We heard a news article on CNN or MSNBC, or we read an article in the New York Times or Newsweek or Time magazine, and we just believed that. And so that's one of the reasons I love doing these live question and answer sessions with you, is because very often when I answer someone else's question, what I will reveal to you is, oh, I thought this other thing was true, but that's not even true. And I've believed it for years, for decades, maybe your whole life. Maybe your mama taught you when you were a young child that a plant-based diet is the healthiest diet a human can eat. And you just believed it because it was mama. How could you not believe mama? So even if you don't have a question, just listen. Listen to this like a podcast. If you have a question, please type it in the comments. I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I can over the next hour from as many people from as many different states and countries and continents as I possibly can. Even I, as a doctor, after 5 or 10 years of practice in family medicine, I would discover something that I thought was true is not true. And even now, after practicing for over 22 years and after almost a decade of just my 100% job being digging into the nutrition research, the medical research on anthropology, archaeology, paleoanthropology, every now and then I'll still find something that I believed was true or believed was false. And I'll find out, oh, okay, I was wrong about that. And that's a lot of people get upset by that when somebody points out something they believe that's not true. But you shouldn't be upset by that. You should be happy about that because now you see the world in a more truthful light. So hang out with me. Let's answer a bunch of questions. And as I'm answering these questions, you may very well hear something that you thought was true that turns out that's not true, or that you thought was false that turns out it's actually true. So let's do this. Let me find a question. Jennifer says, Dr. Berry, what do you feed your cats? We have 2 rescue cats, Olive and Pickle was our original rescue cat, but Pickle's gone to cat heaven, I think. We have Olive and we have Loki, and they're both rescue cats, and they both eat a predominantly meat-based diet. Feeding your cat kibble that comes from Purina or cat chow or any of that kind of crap is literal pet abuse. Okay. Cats are designed and have evolved to eat meat, meat and fish. That's it. That's what cats are supposed to eat. Anytime you're feeding them a pea protein based kibble or a corn based kibble or a grain based kibble, that's cat abuse. Okay. That would be like if you took a cow and fed the cow meat, which farmers have tried in the past. It didn't turn out well because that's not what cows are supposed to eat. Cats are supposed to eat meat and fish. That's it. Nothing else. So if you're currently feeding your cat kibble, and I'm not a veterinarian, let's be very clear about that, but I used to be an animal biologist before I went to medical school. That's what my undergraduate degree is in, animal biology. And so I'm very familiar with the comparative anatomy and physiology of all the different mammals because that's what I used to study. Cats are obligate carnivores, meaning that they must eat meat and fish. This is why you see the epidemic of feline obesity, feline diabetes, feline kidney failure, feline blindness. This is why our cats are so crippled and so miserable, and why the cat has to go to the veterinarian all the time. And then you get there and the veterinarian says, oh, you shouldn't feed them that kibble. Feed them this kibble that I sell, which is pea protein. It's not animal-based protein. It's literally going to make the cat sicker. That's the current state of feeding cats. Dogs are facultative carnivores, meaning that they should eat mostly meat, but they've been around humans for so long, about 15,000 years. We've been working very close with them, and they've been eating our scraps for so long that they can actually tolerate some carbs and some grains, a little bread. They can tolerate it. They don't need it. And so if you want to feed your dog just meat and fish and eggs only, that's perfectly healthy for your dog. But if you want to give them also some other stuff, that's probably not a big deal either for dogs. But for cats, it's a big deal. Great question. Here's a good question from Milton. Dr. Berry, I'm a 65-year-old woman who had COVID the last of February. Now I am back on a buttload of blood pressure medicines. I've been keto for 2 years and I'm on the carnivore challenge. Can this help? Yes, probably. But here's the thing, both with the COVID virus and with the jabby jabs, I've heard hundreds of people say, hey, I was on low carb or keto or carnivore. I had my blood pressure under control. Everything was going great. Then I got COVID or I got the jabby jab. And now my blood pressure is back up and I'm having to take 2 or 3 blood pressure medications. I've heard this from hundreds of people. It doesn't prove causation, but it sure is a lot of smoke there for there to be no fire. And so I don't think anybody currently knows how long this is going to last, Milton. I would guess that this is not permanent, that as you stick to a proper human diet, this should slowly but surely go back to the way it was before you had the virus. Here's a great question from Deridir. Doctor, what do you think about the microbiota, I guess, on a carnivore diet? So the microbiome, because if you read mainstream media, if you watch mainstream news, you firmly believe that you must eat lots of fiber and lots of prebiotic fiber in order to feed your gut microbiome. You believe that. That's one of those things. But here's the problem. If that were true, that you had to have lots of fiber for best health and lots of prebiotic fiber for best health, then people who have been eating only meat, carnivores, for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years longer, they should be very sick, shouldn't they? We should be seeing a lot of signal out of that population. Oh man, look, they're just deteriorating. But we've got some carnivores who've been carnivore for over 30 years. They look 10 years younger, if not 20 years younger than their chronological age. They have buku energy. They are happy. They're having a great life. They're living a great life. They're having fun. So it makes you ask the question, well, how important is fiber and prebiotic fiber? Is it so it can't be very important, or those people would be very sick? So there needs to be some research done on this. All the research showing that fiber is essential, you've got to have so much fiber, is all observational. It doesn't prove anything. Okay, it only shows a possible weak association. That's all that kind of research can show. Now, if you read the news stories about it, it sounds like, oh my God, if you don't eat fiber, you'll die within a month or a year or a decade. But we know that's not true. And so I don't think that there's any need for fiber in the human diet whatsoever. If you want to eat some fiber containing food and you don't have a colon issue like IBS or IBD or Crohn's or ulcerative colitis, then I think it's probably fine for you to eat a little fiber in low-carb veggies and stuff. But if you have ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease or IBD or IBS, you need to avoid all fiber. Your gut is going to thank you. This has been shown hundreds, if not thousands of times. Here's another colon question. We're going to talk about the colon today. This is Trucker Hershey. Have been seeing ads talking about colon reabsorption. That is, your colon doesn't, if you don't empty your colon every day or very often, the toxins in your poop will get reabsorbed into your bloodstream. Is this really a thing? Now, if you don't have a degree in human physiology or animal physiology, you might think, well, They said that on the news, and here's an ad that you can buy this stuff that'll make you poop more often. Maybe that's true. There's not an ounce of truth to this. The entire purpose of the colon is to contain and evacuate waste. Okay? Its job is not to reabsorb. That's not what the colon does. The small intestine absorbs lots of things. But the large intestine, the colon, it's not made to absorb. That's not what it's for. It transports waste and evacuates waste. There is no truth to this whatsoever. So anybody who says, oh, if you don't poop every 10 minutes, you're going to reabsorb toxins out of your poop into your bloodstream, two options. Either they're ignorant, they just don't know what the hell they're talking about, or they're trying to make money off you, or both, some combination. But there's no truth to this whatsoever. Here's one of my sugar diet fans. I got lots of fanboys now who love the sugar diet. And I made a recent YouTube video about the sugar diet. And so now I've got all these sugar diet fanboys commenting on my videos. I love that. Thanks for the engagement, Mitch. Mitch Manna, sugar diet boy. Oh, here's Garrett from South Africa. Nice. Hello, Garrett. What time is it in South Africa? You guys, it's like, what, 11:30 there? You need to go to bed, don't you? Gorit. Sorry, Gorit, not Garrett. Tell me, where are you watching from right now? What city, what state, what country? Where are you at in the world? Tell me so I can say hi to you. Okay, here's a good question from Star Z. Is it safe for someone on blood pressure medication to take iodine? Is there anyone who should not take iodine? Great questions right here. So first of all, every cell in the human body needs iodine. A lot of people, including a lot of doctors, think, oh no, the iodine is just for your thyroid gland, nothing else. You don't need iodine otherwise. They don't realize that your mammary glands, in both women and men, we both have mammary gland tissue. That tissue absorbs iodine and concentrates iodine. So it wouldn't do that at the expense of ATP energy if it wasn't important. Your salivary glands store and concentrate iodine. That's energy expensive. It wouldn't do that. Every cell in the human body that's ever been studied has been shown to have something on its cell membrane called a sodium iodide symporter, which means it transports iodine from outside the cell inside the cell. Why would the cells have that if they don't need iodine? Well, obviously, that means they need iodine. So whether you have high blood pressure, normal blood pressure, or low blood pressure, every cell in your body needs iodine. If not every day, then quite often. Is there anyone who should not take iodine? There's virtually no human on planet Earth who should not get iodine either in their diet, which I prefer you get it that way. I actually have a YouTube video called the 7 foods highest in iodine, or richest iodine-rich foods. I would rather you get the iodine from your food, but not everybody likes those foods or has access to those foods. So for those people, I recommend you take a little daily supplement. The salty daily minerals have 600 micrograms of iodine, and that's not there just for your thyroid. You need 150 micrograms a day to not get a goiter, which is an enlarged thyroid. But what about all the other cells in your body? They need iodine as well. That's right. So I recommend a daily dose of salty mineral drops and eat iodine-rich foods, which is basically any fish, shellfish, crustacean that comes from the ocean. They're going to be a rich source of iodine. Emily Smith says, I just started Carnivore 7 days ago. My inflammation already feels better. Who out there do you know who's just chronically inflamed? Their joints are killing them. Their gut's killing them. Their skin is inflamed and broke out. If you said, hey, you can improve your inflammation in 7 days. And they were like, how? What do I have to buy? What pill do I have to take to do that? And then you would say, just eat beef, butter, bacon, and eggs and nothing else for 7 days, and your inflammation will improve. How many of them would laugh and walk off? How many of them would go, are you crazy? And how many of them would say, I've tried everything else. I might as well give that a try. Emily says she's in perimenopause and her doctor has her on an estrogen patch. Is there a safe, natural alternative? Love you both. She's talking about me and Nisha, my beautiful, intelligent partner in life and wife, Nisha Salas-Berry. So some of the estrogen patches are bioidentical. They got a patent not on the molecule of the estrogen, but on the actual delivery mechanism. So some of the patches are bioidentical, but you absolutely can get bioidentical estrogen. Any pill that's estrogen that you get a prescription and you go fill it at the pharmacy that has estrogen in it, that's not real estrogen. That's a fake estrogen-like molecule that the company has a patent on. Okay? So if you're taking an estrogen pill for birth control or menopause, that's not real estrogen, and it's going to increase your risk of bad things happening. Oh, Lisa just joined our PhD community. Hey, Lisa, welcome to the tribe. Every day we get new people joining our tribe from all over the world. We have lots of stuff in the tribe. There's a link in the show notes if you want to check it out. Welcome, Lisa. I'm so glad to have you. Here's Grandma Dar. She says, please like and share this stream. It's important for families to sit down and watch Dr. Berry. We need to save us. And Grandma's right, because the way that I reach new people so that I can help new people is if you click the share button. That may even be how you discovered my channel and discovered that you can ask me questions and I'll actually answer them. Somebody may have shared that on their social media or sent you an email or a text message. You can do the same thing and pay it forward. You can help someone you've never met. How cool is that? That's the power of social media. You can click the share button and share this on your favorite social media. And someone you've never met, maybe you're Facebook friends, but you don't really know them, you can improve their life, maybe even save their life. That's pretty cool. And that helps me to reach them and to start to tell them the truth about a proper human diet. Thank you, Grandma. Thank you very much. All right, let's see what else we got here. Oh, where'd you go? These are going by so fast. Carol says our dog Cookie, a 3-year-old Australian Shepherd, is now a carnivore dog and won't even touch the pedigree dog food anymore. We've actually seen that here. We have nothing but meat and bones for our dogs. We have a standard poodle, Lily, and we have a rescue. He looks like a Yorkie poo, but we don't know what he is. But he's like 15 years old and he's still running and gunning like a champ. And they both eat meat and bones. That's what they eat. And somebody we had them in the car going to the bank through the drive-through, and the bank had a little dog bone for him. And so Toto was so excited. He's like, oh, yeah. What do you got? What do you got? And Nisha got the dog bone and said thank you to the lady, and he sniffed it, and he just turned around and got back in the back seat. He's like, I don't want that crap. I thought maybe they had some meat for me. So yes, this is something that actually happens in real life. Here's a good one from Raphael. Dr. Berry, how would you explain that some people stay healthy their whole life eating a Mediterranean diet compared to a ketogenic or carnivore diet? So first of all, let's talk about the Mediterranean diet. And I want you to understand very clearly, because you may believe currently, oh, no, a Mediterranean diet, that's the healthiest diet. It's very healthy. A plant-based Mediterranean diet is probably perfection for human beings. Well, first of all, who defined the Mediterranean diet that you eat? That you think is healthy? Because Nisha and I have been to several countries around the Mediterranean Ocean, and we don't eat in tourist restaurants when we go places like that. We get about 6 or 7 blocks off the beaten tourist path. We find a restaurant where there's no English on the menu whatsoever, no pictures on the menu, where locals eat. That's where we eat. And guess what? The menus of those type of restaurants in Italy, in Sicily, in Slovenia, in Croatia, in Turkey, guess what they're full of? Meat and seafood. Yeah, the only plant oil you'll find is olive oil. No canola, no soybean, no peanut oil. It's olive oil and vinegar. Those are the condiments. There's no ketchup and mustard on the table. They eat predominantly meat and fish. Lots of cheese, lots of dairy, lots of full fat, probably A2 dairy. Only in America do typically cardiologists, plant-based cardiologists, they say, oh, a Mediterranean diet's predominantly plant-based. Not in any Mediterranean country I've been to. No, they eat meat, lots of meat. So my explanation of that is because they eat lots of meat and fish and lots of full fat dairy. That's why they live such long, healthy lives. And it's also why their rates of obesity are so much lower than in the United States. All right. Now, let's see. Thank you, Alina, very much. Marina says, liver hack, mix ground beef with ground chicken liver and cook it. Now, this is a great hack because I'm always saying, grow up and eat your liver. Liver is the ultimate superfood you can eat, whether it's chicken liver, goose liver, duck liver, sheep liver, goat liver, beef liver. Doesn't matter. Liver has more vitamins and minerals than any berry you can eat, than any nut you can eat. If you compare the nutrition in 2 ounces of liver versus 2 pounds of kale or spinach or blueberries or Aussie berries or whatever you think is a superfood, 2 ounces of liver has more nutrition, more vitamins and minerals than 2 pounds of kale. Okay. Kale's not a superfood. Kale's gross. Kale is a garnish at best. Sheep like collards and they like kale. And so I might plant some for the sheep, but as far as me and my family, we're not going to eat kale. Kale's not a superfood. Kale's very, very inflammatory. But now here's a great hack. If you're sitting there saying, I hate liver, I cannot make myself eat it, there's 2 options. Number one, do what Marina does. Take a pound of ground beef and mix in 2 or 3 ounces of chicken liver. Grind it up. Send it through the grinder. Have your butcher mix in a pound of beef liver with 4 pounds of just 70-30 ground beef. You cannot taste it. And then when you cook the hamburgers or the hamburger steaks, hamburger patties, you can't taste the liver, but you're getting all the nutrition from the liver. That's option number one. Now, if you don't have any way to do that, you don't have a butcher or a meat guy that'll make a custom grind for you like that, you can take Ancestral Supplements beef liver capsules. And that's a distant second. No, by far the best option is to either just suck it up and eat your liver or mix your liver, grind it in with ground beef, and you won't be able to taste it. You can grind it in with ground pork and make sausage. Sausage should have liver in it and heart in it. It should have pancreas and spleen in it. It should have all kinds of organs in it. But the average guy who makes sausage thinks, oh, nobody wants that. But more and more so, people are waking up and going, yeah, I definitely want all the nutrition that's in that liver and that heart. Don't waste that. Grind that into my sausage. Grind it into my hot dogs, my bologna, my ground beef. I want liver and heart in all that. But until you grow up and learn to eat your liver, you can get some of the Ancestral Supplements beef liver capsules. There's a link in the show notes. Hey, Holly Kreisel, thank you so much. Here's Marina again. I'm taking iodine supplements in the form of sea kelp tablets, 325 mics per tablet. Are they good enough? Yeah, they are. You might need more than 325 micrograms. That's twice the recommend the RDI in the United States. But I think most women probably need either 2 or 3 times that amount. But yeah, I think sea kelp's a great source. Just make sure they didn't put any other crap ingredients in there as well. Thank you very much, God's Word. Gary says, I like pork belly because it's easy to raise my daily fat percentage. Yeah, pork bacon or pork belly or hog jowl are about 1-to-1 fat to protein. So it's a very easy way to get more fat in your diet. But I get the impression that beef fat is preferred. A lot of people will say that. Is that true? Can you tell me why? Thanks for all you do. So beef fat, tallow, or just the fat trimmings on your steak that you're going to tell your butcher from this day forward to never trim off again, that's some of the healthiest fat on planet Earth that a human being can eat. And eating animal fat is good for you. There's 2 people out there right now that just went, wait, what did he say? Animal fat is good for me? What? I thought this was a vegan channel. Yeah, animal fat is the fat that human beings have been eating for the longest period of time on Earth. Okay. 100 years ago, we never ate canola oil, soybean oil, peanut oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, vegetable shortening, plant butter. We never ate that stuff. Those are new modern inventions that are made in a chemical factory. I'm not interested in feeding my family shit that comes from a chemical factory. I want my family to eat real ancestral human food, and that's animal fat. So the difference between pork fat and beef fat is that beef fat, especially if it's grass-fed and grass-finished, has a higher omega-3 content and a lower omega-6 content than pork. Now, the average American eats about 20-to-1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3, which is terrible, very unhealthy. If you just eliminate all the ultra-processed foods and you don't use vegetable shortening or canola oil, sunflower, safflower, soybean, peanut oils, you're going to cut that down to 5-to-1 omega-6 to omega-3 just by getting that stuff out of your diet. And many, many experts say that's 5-to-1 omega-6 to omega-3. That's perfectly fine and healthy. I think you should try to get it down to at least 4-to-1. So 4 times as much omega-3 or omega-6 as omega-3. If you can get it to 4-to-1, that's better than 99% of the adult population in modern society. But it seems like some people need that ratio to be even lower. And beef fat, tallow, or the fat trimmings on your steak or in your ground beef, that's going to have a higher omega-3 to omega-6 ratio, relatively speaking, more so than pork. Okay. That's what everybody's talking about. But at the end of the day, if you're just starting a proper human diet, and I'm going to tell you how to find out more about a proper human diet. Well, like, what the hell is that? I'll tell you in just a second. But if you're just starting to try to eat a proper human diet, don't worry about, is pork, is it not as good as beef? Is chicken not as good? Just eat the meat. Eat the meat. That's step 1. Okay. You can keep learning and keep researching. Then you can, and also experimenting. How do I feel when I eat a lot of chicken versus eat a lot of beef? How do I feel better if I eat more pork or eat more beef? How do I feel? And you'll come to this realization by listening to your body's own feedback. Now, if you're kind of new to this and you're like, I keep hearing you talk about a proper human diet, but I do not know what the hell that actually means, I have a proper human diet guidebook that you can get a free copy of. I will email you a free copy. There's a link in the show notes. I'll email it to you immediately, and you can print it out, or you can read it on your electronic device, or you can go to Kinko's and print out 50 copies and give a copy to all your friends and neighbors. It's up to you. You have my permission to do any of those things with it. There is an upsell for $4 where there's a video of me going over the guidebook, but that's optional. You don't have to buy that. You can get a copy of the PhD guidebook for free 99 by clicking the link in the show notes. Here's God's word again. Okay, Dr. Barry, I know it's supposed to be 90 days when I get back to you. It's been 11 days since you told me to do beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, and I'm already down 8 pounds. Lost 8 pounds in 11 days. Now, is all 8 pounds of that fat? Did God's word from the rest area, did they lose 8 pounds of fat in 11 days? No. The majority of that is unhealthy stored fluid that God's word from the rest area was holding in an unhealthy way because of all the inflammation in their body. But now that they're eating only beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, the inflammation is getting better, and they're able to pee out that unhealthy extra fluid that they were holding. And I guarantee you they're happy that they've lost 8 pounds. Probably a pound or two of that's fat and the rest of it's fluid. But that's perfectly fine. It's actually great because you don't need to, your heart doesn't need to be pumping all that extra unnecessary fluid around your body. It can lead to edema. It can lead to skin breakdown. It can lead to so many things. This is one of the hundreds of reasons I love beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. It's easy to remember. Every supermarket has those 4 things. It's almost like a little sing-song mnemonic: beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. And so it's easy to remember. And also it's hard to trick you because nobody's going to come out with, well, except for plant butter, they're already trying to trick you. But if you got any sense at all, if your IQ is above 100, you're going to say, plant butter? Let me read these ingredients. Oh, this is canola oil. That's garbage. Yeah. Beef, butter, bacon, and eggs are 4 foods that human beings have been eating for thousands and thousands of years. They are ancestrally appropriate foods. They reduce inflammation. They bring down your blood sugar. They bring down your insulin level. They help your metabolism start to heal. That's why God's word from the rest area has lost 8 pounds in 11 days. Cherry, I've been carnivore mostly for 2 months, been in low to mild moderate ketosis, but right leg pains from sciatica still hurt. Should I give it more time? Yes. So a proper human diet, keto, ketovore, carnivore, it's not going to heal and cure every single thing that you have, but it is going to make them less severe. Sometimes it's either improved or gone in a week. Sometimes it takes many months. It depends on the injury. It depends on the inflammation. It depends on how severe the illness is. Give it time. You need to start taking a daily dose of vitamin P. Cherry, do you know where you get vitamin P from? I've got a link in the show notes. No, I'm kidding. Vitamin P stands for patience. Give your body time to heal. The average person like Cherry ate a shit diet for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. And now she's been eating a proper human diet for 2 months and she's not back to optimal health. Give it some time, Cherry. It's happening. Trust the process. It's coming. Anna Maria, Dr. Berry, thank you for your continued research and share of all the information. I appreciated all the hard work and truth. Well, thank you, Anna Maria. Anna Maria, thank you. Marina says, I understand that sun is good for you, but I don't want to have pigmentation spots on my face. Is that okay to use sunscreen for that? So Marina is under the false assumption that the reason people get age spots is from too much sun, or the reason that people get different pigmentations is from too much sun exposure. Now, you should never get a sunburn. You should always avoid that. That's bad for you. Obviously, that's why it hurts. Okay, but getting sun exposure is not going to age your skin if your diet is proper. Now, how can I, because I know the American Academy of Dermatology is going to cancel me. They're like, what? What did he just say? Sun exposure doesn't age the skin? What a moron. Well, here, listen to this theory and tell me what you think. Every skin cell in your skin is replaced every 3 months. Every 3 months, you have a completely new skin. Now, those skin cells have to be built from something, don't they? Remember earlier we were talking about omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids. The average American is eating a 20-to-1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3s. Your cell membranes of your skin cells are made out of fat and cholesterol. That's what they're made out of. Okay? And if you're eating a very high proportion of inappropriate fat, that's going to be incorporated into your skin cell membranes, meaning that your skin cell membranes are going to be made out of the wrong fat. They're going to contain the wrong kind of fat. Now, do you think that will weaken that skin cell? It's not. It's made out of inferior materials. Think about that. That's what causes. And then obviously, if you're eating the inappropriate oils and then you get too much sun exposure, yeah, you're going to wind up with age spots. You're going to wind up with accelerated wrinkle formation. But it's not the sun that's doing that. It's what you've built your skin cells out of being exposed to the sun. If your skin cells are built out of healthy animal fats that you've eaten for the last 3 months, your skin cells are going to be much happier and they're going to love it when you go out and play in the sun. Think about that. And when I say that statement, people lose their minds. But then when I explain it, they're like, well, I mean, that kind of makes sense that if you've built your barn out of inferior materials and then you expose it to sunlight and rain and storms, the barn is more likely to fall down. But if you build your barn out of very good building materials, it can tolerate the sun and the elements for almost a century and still be standing there. That's right. Your skin cells are the same way. Don't fear the sun. The sun is your skin's friend. Real animal fat filled foods are your skin's best friend. Guess what guidelines? My friend had hypothyroidism for 20 years, over 20 years, strictly avoiding iodine because her doc told her to avoid iodine. It affected her mental health. Yeah, guess what? You have iodine receptors in your brain. Your brain needs daily iodine. How could a carnivore diet also help lower her off-the-chart Hashimoto's antibodies? Because Hashimoto's thyroiditis is an autoimmune condition. Her immune system is confused. It's not overactive. It's not too strong. It's confused. You want to have a strong immune system. You want it to be very strong and vigorous, but you don't want it to be confused or it might start attacking a part of you. And that's what's happening to your friends. Now, your friend needs to start getting iodine daily, either from iodine-rich foods, like I talk about in my YouTube video, or from an iodine supplement. She needs that. If someone has hypothyroidism, they need iodine. If somebody has Hashimoto's, they need iodine. If somebody has hyperthyroidism, they need iodine. Now, wait for this last statement because it is inflammatory. Endocrinologists are going to lose their mind when I say what I'm about to say. You ready? Listen carefully. People with thyroid cancer need daily iodine in their diet. Yes. There is no human on planet Earth that does not need a daily source of iodine, either in their diet or in the form of a supplement. There is no exception to that rule. There is not a single human being walking the earth who doesn't need iodine daily. It's just the physiology. I've got a YouTube video about iodine that all the research is in the show notes. There's like 10 studies that directly talk to what I'm talking about. Oh, I forgot. I've got a big announcement that I've got to tell you about that Nisha's been working on for over 2 years. That's about to be released in the very near future. She might want to come and tell you about it, or she might want me to tell you. But let me get another couple of questions and I'm going to tell you about this. I think you might be interested. Angie, I met a young man named Carlos who is a diabetic, and I told him about you and Paola's Facebook group, Real Clean Keto. I pray we can help him. Advice from talking to strangers about the proper human diet. So Angie has reached out to a guy named Carlos who's diabetic, probably has type 2 diabetes, because that 95% of people with diabetes, it's type 2, which means it's diet induced. It's literally, he has carbohydrate overdose toxicity syndrome. That's what type 2 diabetes is. She's never met him in real life. But Angie and one of our coaches in our private community, Paola, they're going to save this guy's life. They'll probably add 10 or 15 years of health and life to his health span and lifespan. They're going to teach him about a proper human diet. They never met him. They're not related to him. They don't know him. And they're going to literally add 10 to 15 years to his healthy life. How cool is that? How cool is that? I freaking love that. So the best advice, and she says, give me some advice for talking to strangers. So the very best advice I can give you is, first and foremost, fix your own health problems with a proper human diet first. Fix your own type 2 diabetes, fix your own fatty liver, lose the extra weight you need to lose, lower your blood pressure, lower your chronic inflammation. That inflammation could be in your skin in the form of psoriasis or eczema or acne. It could be in your gut in the form of IBS, IBD, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis. It could be in your urinary tract, chronic cystitis, chronic vaginal infections, chronic kidney stones. Yeah, a proper human diet improves all that stuff if it doesn't fix it completely. You're going to save Carlos's life. Oh, look here. Looky here. Hello, Nisha.
I look a hot mess. I've been messing with chickens.
Are you guys ready for the big announcement?
I'm glad you're making me do it right now. Whoa, that is not. Look at this. So those of you who are in the PhD community have already seen this announcement, but if you're not in there, we are launching our first round of PhD health coach certification. Class will start in September. You can join the wait list. It is by application. We are only taking a certain amount of people, and you have to apply. We have to prove you, and if you get accepted, you will get an email. And you'll get all the information, pricing, and everything beforehand. But yeah, very exciting. Been 4 years.
4 years.
4 years in the making. Dr. Berry is a part of it. He will be teaching some classes in there as well.
Yep.
There is live Q&A. It is a 6-month intensive cohort. It is not self-paced. So we are basically holding your hand. It will cover PhD, proper human diet, nutrition, fundamentals, obviously, business, marketing, social media, secrets of Instagram, YouTube, those type of things.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have some pros come in and do some workshops with you guys. By the end of it, you will have everything already set up and going. You will probably already have clients because we don't want you to just have a certification. We want you to have a well-run business with dignity, moral values, and to help more people, because Dr. Berry is just one human.
That's right.
We need an army.
We need an army of health coaches. And like Nisha said, 4 years in the making. And we've had access to numerous coaching certification programs. And I can just tell you, and if you watch me and you know me, you know I'm not going to pull your chain. This is head and shoulders above any other coaching certification program. And there's two specific things I want to talk about that I'm so proud of Nisha and her people for doing this. The average coaching certification program, they teach you enough of the biology and physiology and nutrition to get by and be a coach, but they don't teach you anything about how to actually successfully market and manage a health coaching business. And
they offer those classes too, but it's not in the main course.
Oh.
And we felt like that was something that for you to be successful, you need to know that stuff too. So not everybody wants to be on social media, but we will teach that. We will teach about the tools that we use in our coaching businesses. It's me, myself, Alyssa, Rogers, and Kim Howerton, and Dr. Berry. And then we have others that are going to come in and help as well. Website design, using Canva, using Loom, using Zoom, and other tools that we use that maybe you're not acquainted with or seem overwhelming. I know a lot of people are tech challenged. Alyssa likes to say she's also tech challenged, so don't feel bad.
Right.
So we're just basically going to help you with
if somebody
little things.
If somebody like Angie, who's about to help Carlos reverse his type 2 diabetes, if she says, "Man, that was fun. I wish I could do that for a living." She can.
Yeah, but again, we're taking, because this is our first round, so we want to do it right. We're not taking it's not just like anybody can come in and buy it and just like willy-nilly a bunch of people in there, because we really, by the time this is over, you're going to be really good friends with us because we're going to spend a lot of time with you. We're also going to have skills practice for coaching, which also is another intensive thing that I feel like when I went through health coaching, it was part of it, but I still didn't feel as prepared as I wanted to be. So we're going to have a lot of workshops. You're going to have a lot of homework. So if you're not in a place to take on something like that, then maybe this isn't for you. Maybe this is not the program for you. But if you're ready if you're one of the tenacious ones,
Yep.
then
And
this might be for you.
if you just want a certification, you can get that from 20 different
Sure.
places. But
Yeah.
if you want a certification that prepares you to be successful as a health coach, that prepares you to know how to use social media to reach people and find clients that you can then help reverse their type 2 diabetes or whatever, this is the program. Because there are modules in this program that you got to pay extra for in other programs. This is all included.
Dr. Berry will be teaching client advocacy in the clinic. So we know how to tell people how to ask for what they want in the clinic, but not everybody does. And not
Right.
everybody comes from a healthcare background that wants to be a health coach. And so we wanted to better prepare health coaches for that kind of thing, because you don't need a carnivore doctor, but you do need to know how to talk to your doctor to get the things that you want and need. Sometimes you just need a new doctor. But those are some tools we're going to have too. But again, this is an intensive, it's not self-paced. It is not for everybody. If you're not prepared, we're going to work you.
Yeah. If you want a career,
Yeah.
if you're looking for a career that you can actually pay the bills with and have just the warm, fuzzy feeling of, man, I've helped a lot of people and I've made a living doing it. This is your program. But if you're just wanting a certification so you can stack that with your other certifications,
I mean, not everybody needs
this is going to be hard work.
Some people can self-teach. I self-taught myself all this stuff. No one taught me how to do any of this. And you can too if you have the time. And then another thing is our founding coaches will get access to our coaching community. We're going to keep up with you. We're not just going to drop you off. We're going to do Q&As every month. We're going to do workshops with you throughout the year when you're done. So you'll get free access to that for life if you're a founding coach, meaning this first round if you get in. And we're going to have a retreat for our coaches as well. So
I love it. I love it. Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you, Nisha. I'll tell you a place.
Oh, wait, I didn't tell you where to go.
Oh, yes. Okay.
If you want to get on the email list for when we open enroll applications, it's PhDHealthCoachAcademy.com. Do you have that in the description?
I
Probably
don't. I'll
not.
type it in.
PhDHealthCoachAcademy.com. And again, that's just the wait list to get an email when we open for applications to be put in.
PhDHealthCoachAcademy.com. Okay, I typed it into the comments, so you should be able to see where I commented across all the social media platforms that we're live on. I'll tell you one other place where I think over the next 3 to 10 years, a certified health coach who's certified by a reputable organization, like the Proper Human Diet certification, there's going to be an increasing demand for these certified health coaches in the doctors' offices. Because doctors, more and more every day, a new doctor's like, hey, keto is actually super healthy and actually helps people reverse chronic disease. Hey, carnivore is actually on the proper human diet spectrum. But these doctors are busy. They don't have time to spend 30 minutes with a patient saying, okay, here's what you eat, here's what you don't eat, here's why. They need to hire a health coach. And I can promise you there's going to be more and more health coaches who have a good certification that doctors trust, who are going to be working for doctors, either in person at their clinic or remotely, virtually, online. And so the doctor will see the patient for the 5 or 10 minutes they see them, and they'll hand them off to the health coach. And that could be you. And they're going to pay you a good salary to work in their clinic, or they're going to pay you a good salary to take care of people virtually. And so after the doctor says his little 7-minute spiel, he'll give the patient a link to go talk to the health coach, and that could be you. And so you could be like Angie and help reverse Carlos's type 2 diabetes, but get paid for it. If that's true, if that's something you're looking for, you really need to check that out. And just scroll back in the comments and look for my comment. That's the website where you go to apply. Not everybody who applies is going to be accepted. We only want good quality people in this program, okay? Because when somebody says that they are a PhD certified health coach, that's going to mean something. So we're not going to let just anybody in this program. So think about it. All right, back to questions. Tiffany, this is a great question, and this is a super important question. What's the best toddler milk or powder without seed oils? So the best milk that you can feed an infant, a baby, or a toddler is breast milk. And I predict as we learn more and more and more about the power of breast milk. Breast milk's not just a liquid. It is a living tissue that adjusts to the baby's body. I predict that as we learn more about breast milk, that wet nurses are going to become a thing again. Women who have a great milk supply, they're going to feed their baby and they're going to store up milk and for other women. I predict that's going to come back in fashion because there is just no substitute for breast milk. I don't give a damn what Infamil or Similac says. They are a distant inferior second place to breast milk. Okay. The breast milk of a drug addict would be better for your baby than Infamil or Similac. Yep, I said that just now, and I believe that, and I think I can prove that. So, toddler milk. Now, if you're not making milk anymore, and you don't know anybody who's got a good supply that they can share some with your toddler, goat milk is the next best thing. All goat milk is A2. There is no such thing as A1 goat milk. And if you don't know what A1 and A2 means, don't worry. You'll get there as you go down this nutrition road of learning. But babies have less inflammation. A2 milk is less inflammatory to a baby's system. And most cow milk that you buy in the supermarket is A1. And that talks about the casein in the casein proteins in the milk. Goat milk is by definition A2. So babies tolerate it better. Goat milk is closer to human breast milk as far as the fat and protein and lactose macros. And if the goats are allowed to eat grass, it's going to be rich in vitamins and minerals. So that both of ours, Bonnie's 2.5, Beckett is 5.5. And when they drink milk, it's goat milk 100% of the time. I don't think either one of them have ever had a sip of cow's milk. We just don't have it in the house because goat milk is better. Okay. Now, I'll tell you that Weston A. Price, they actually, if you have a very young baby that you can't give, because you don't want to give goat milk to a young baby, they have a formula that you can make formula with on their website. And I think that if you're going to give your baby formula, you need to make the Weston A. Price baby formula because it is the closest thing to breast milk. It's still a distant second. There is nothing that's anywhere close to equivalent to living human breast milk. There's just nothing. Okay. Here's a question from Jeremy. Type 2 control for 3 years, carnivore for 2 years. I must calorie restrict to avoid skin breakouts and avoid adding inches to the waistline. Recently found fish seems to offset this. Any suggestions? So fish is completely fine on a carnivore diet. A lot of people think carnivore is beef only. Yeah, carnivore is anything that runs, jumps, creeps, crawls, slithers, swims, flies. That's carnivore. If it's got a face, it's carnivore. If it had a mama, it's carnivore. Okay. So yeah, fish is fine for carnivore. And you probably don't have to portion control or calorie count to keep your skin from breaking out. That's probably coincidental. It has to do with something else. Danny says, any advice on methylene blue? You've seen the trend. Methylene blue is very popular right now. It's very, very popular. Is there anything to it? So I've read most of the research about methylene blue. There are definitely some medical conditions that methylene blue is the treatment of choice. Hemoglobinemia comes to mind. Methylene blue will save somebody's life if they're in a crisis. There's several other medical conditions. Methylene blue is purported to help your mitochondria function better and to do many other things in your body. But the research, it could be better on methylene blue. I'm not sold by the research, but I'm currently doing an N=1 experiment on myself with methylene blue. And I don't have anything to report yet. I'm not going to tell you what brand because I don't know if I'm going to recommend it or not. I'm still experimenting with it. So we'll see how that turns out. Dave says, Dr. Berry, my mom is 80 years old and she has rosacea. Did I hear you say iodine may be helpful? So I have rosacea. You're like, wait, I don't see anything. Yeah. I used to have to put hydrocortisone cream on 2 or 3 times a week to keep it at bay back when I was eating the standard American junk diet. As soon as I started keto, it started getting better. And when I say keto, keep in mind, I don't mean keto bread and keto pie and keto cookies. I mean meat and low carb veg. That's what keto is. Meat with the fat on it and low carb veg. That's keto. I've got hundreds of videos on my YouTube channel about what keto really means. It's not keto Twinkies or keto cereal. Those things are not keto. Those are marketing strategies to get your money. Okay. So when I went keto, my rosacea got 80% better. I might have to put hydrocortisone cream on once or twice a month. It got so much better. And then when I went carnivore, which is over 8 years ago, my rosacea went completely away. And I never put anything on my face anymore, but I used to have the redness right here. I was starting to get the little rhinophyma, little bumps on my nose, the little broken capillaries. It just stopped when I went carnivore. Got 80% better with keto, real whole food keto, and is now in complete remission. I'm sure that if I went back to eating the shit that they sell in the center aisles of the supermarket, I bet my rosacea would come back with a vengeance. But I'm never going to do that because I have discovered a proper human diet for myself, and I'm never going to stray from that. Why would I? Why would I want rosacea and heartburn and prediabetes and to be severely obese? I don't want that. I used to have all that. Now I don't have any of it. Why would I want to get that back? It's not worth it. I'm going to eat meat and eggs and fish. And if I eat fish, it's going to be unbreaded and not fried in seed oil. And I'm going to keep my rosacea and all those other things at bay because I don't want them. So the main thing I would say, Dave, is for your mom, the iodine, she needs iodine for sure, but I don't think that's going to help her rosacea. What's going to help her rosacea is to get her on a real whole food ketogenic diet with its very meat heavy, eggs with the yolk, seafood if she likes it. And if she just likes meat and eggs and fish and is happy to eat only that, her rosacea can go be almost in complete remission on a carnivore diet. And talk with your mom. She's 80. You don't want to try to make her do this. Just tell her that's an option, Mom, if you want to do that. Marina says, is it safe to give a vitamin A supplement, 3,000 international units to an 11-year-old? She doesn't eat liver, egg yolks, or cod liver. Thank you. No, please, please do not give a vitamin A supplement to your child. None of you guys should be taking a vitamin A supplement or vitamin E. There's tons of research. You can become vitamin A toxic from taking a vitamin A supplement. You do not want to do that. Okay. Mix the liver in with the ground beef, Marina. She's not going to taste it. She won't know it's there. And you're going to be a smart mom and not tell her it's in there. And then let her eat her hamburgers, as many as she wants. And she's going to be getting the vitamin A from the liver. Okay. Do not. And then also you can make tuna salad and put cod liver in the tuna salad. You can't taste it, but all the vitamin A from the cod liver is still in there. You can also mix egg yolks in 1,000 different things. And you can't detect that there's egg yolk in it. There's 100 ways you can get this in her mouth without beating her with a stick and making her eat it. But please don't give your baby or your child or your spouse a vitamin A supplement. I do not recommend that at all. Good question. Chad, will you please explain how PhD can work for some with type 2 diabetes with insulin resistance, stage 4 kidney disease, and triglycerides over 1,000? Yeah, absolutely, Chad. So let's walk through each thing. What is type 2 diabetes? Type 2 diabetes is carbohydrate overdose. It's carbohydrate overload toxicity. That's what type 2 is. So when you're eating a proper human diet, it's by definition very low in carbohydrates. So that's going to remove all the excess sugar that would be in the bloodstream otherwise. The type 2 diabetes is going to get better and better and better until it goes completely away. Some people say it's healed. Some people say it's in remission. Some people say it's resolved. I don't care what you call it as long as you have an A1C of less than 5.7 because that's normal. Okay, that's number one. Number two, insulin resistance. Now, a lot of people say insulin resistance, but that's not really a thing. That's not a diagnosis. That's just a construct. It's a paradigm. What I want you to do is measure your fasting insulin. This is a simple blood test your doctor can order. It's just a serum insulin while you're fasting. It's blood work. Okay. If it's above 10, you're eating too many carbohydrates, which break down into sugar. That raises your blood sugar, and then that makes your insulin level be chronically high. That's hyperinsulinemia. If you check your insulin and it's above 10, you're eating too many carbohydrates. You need to cut the carbs and then recheck in 3 months. Same for the A1C. Cut the carbs, recheck in 3 months. If it's normal, great. If not, cut the carbs more. And then stage 4 chronic kidney disease, CKD. Millions of people suffer from this, okay? We have seen thousands of people with stage 2, 3A, 3B, and stage 4 kidney disease. We've seen their kidney function actually improve on a real whole food, meat-heavy ketogenic diet, or a Ketovore diet, or a Carnivore diet. And if you don't know what one of those is, I've got hundreds of videos on my YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and type in Dr. Berry Ketovore, Dr. Berry Carnivore, Dr. Berry Keto, and all those videos, whichever one you're interested in, they'll pop up. Now, triglycerides over 1,000. A lot of doctors will literally tell you, you've got to stop eating saturated fat. Your triglycerides are too high. What this reveals to you about your doctor is that your doctor is ignorant of basic lipid metabolism in the human body. You can't eat enough saturated fat to make your triglycerides high when you're fasting, okay? It's sugar, it's starches, it's carbohydrates. If you're eating too much of those, that's what makes your triglycerides high, okay? So by eating a low-carb, nutrient-dense, ancestrally appropriate, proper human diet, you can reverse type 2 diabetes completely, reverse high triglycerides completely, reverse hyperinsulinemia completely, and improve the kidney function and protect the remaining kidney function in somebody with chronic kidney disease. That's why I love it when you guys get a free copy of the Proper Human Diet Guidebook, because a lot of you guys, Chad may not know what's a low-carb proper human diet, what foods. There's a link in the show notes for the free copy. I think it's about 40 pages long. I'll email you a free copy. Just tell me your email. That's all you got to do. It's completely free. There's an upsell if you want a video of me telling you what's in it. But if you just want the guidebook, it's completely free. Great question. See how all those things they're tied together. They're basically caused by the same thing. Carney Gal, thank you, Dr. Barry and Nisha, for all you guys do to get and keep us all healthy. That's my job. I'm a doctor. Nisha's a nurse. Our job is to improve people's health, and we take that very seriously. And that's why we literally spent 4 years designing the PhD coaching certification, so that it's respected by doctors. It's going to be respected by nutritionists and dietitians. They're going to know, oh, that they're PhD certified. That's not like that other gimmicky certification that you literally can just play Christmas tree on the multiple choice questions and keep trying and retrying until you pass it. Now you've got a certification. The PhD certification is not like that. You got to be accepted to the program. You got to apply to the program. And if you're sketchy, you're probably not going to get accepted. So yeah, that's just part of the way that we're helping to improve the health of the whole world. That's our calling in life. That's our mission. All right, guys, we got time for another question or two. Let me see if I can find it. Here's one from Steve. 52 years old. I was recently diagnosed with high LP(a) and advanced coronary artery disease. I'm a recovering type 2 diabetic. Now, where did his CAD, his heart disease, where did that come from? It came from the type 2 diabetes. It didn't come from saturated fat in his diet. It didn't come from cholesterol in his diet. Steve's heart disease came from the type 2 diabetes. I was told there's specific ways I'd have to do carnivore to reverse it all. Something about uric acid problems and more. Ignore all that, Steve. People try to make things complicated, because if you complicate a subject, if I make something very complicated, then suddenly I'm the expert. Oh, see how that works? And now you've got to buy my program, or you've got to buy my whatever, or my supplements, right? Or my meal plan. There's nothing complicated about carnivore, Steve. You're going to reverse your type 2 diabetes completely within 3 to 6 months on a carnivore diet. Beef, bacon, butter, and eggs. Beef, bacon, butter, and eggs. That's literally it. Every meal you can eat once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day. It doesn't matter. If you're hungry, you're going to eat. You're going to eat till you're full. Then you're going to stop eating and go outside and play. Is that complicated enough for you? I'm not trying to be the guru here. I'm not trying to make $1 million. I'm trying to save 1 million souls from suffering with type 2 diabetes and all the complications that come with type 2 diabetes, including coronary artery disease. Type 2 diabetes is the leading cause of heart attack, the leading cause of CHD and CAD, leading cause of stroke. It's diabetes. It's pre-diabetes. It's hyperinsulinemia. And when you eat a low carb enough, proper human diet, long enough, strictly enough, you're going to reverse all that stuff. And that'll give your heart arteries a chance to start to heal. You'll lower the inflammation in the endothelial lining of your heart arteries, and they'll be able to start to heal. Does that make sense, Steve? Great question. Here's one from Bradley. Starting to eat a cup of berries, is glyphosate a problem? If the berries were sprayed in glyphosate, then the glyphosate's still going to be on the berries. Nobody gets each berry down and scrubs it with a little scrub brush to get the glyphosate off. If any of you guys are eating whole grain bread or whole grain cereal, you are literally eating glyphosate. Okay, they spray it on all the cereal crops, all the grain crops. In oats, they actually use a heavy dose of glyphosate to make the oats wilt and dry out right before harvest. So a bowl of oatmeal, you're eating a bowl of glyphosate. Any oat-based breakfast cereal, you're eating a bowl of glyphosate. They put it on rice, they put it on wheat, they put it on corn, it's on all that stuff. So the way to reduce your glyphosate intake the most is to not eat any grains. Wheat, rice, oats, corn, soybean. Those are the things in the American diet, and indeed in any country in modern society. If you're eating wheat, rice, oats, corn, soybean, you're eating a bowl of glyphosate. So berries are typically very low. They don't really spray glyphosate on berries much. And berries are, in moderation, are part of a ketogenic diet, can be. They're part of a low-carb diet, all of which are on the proper human diet spectrum. A lot of people, when I say a proper human diet, they think I mean carnivore only. I don't. There's a spectrum all the way from low-carb, which is under 100 total grams of carbs a day, all the way to ketogenic, which is somewhere between 20 and 50 total grams of carbs a day. Ketovore, which is under 10 total grams of carbs a day. Carnivore, which is beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, meat only, animal products only. And then the lion diet, which is ruminant meat only, which is cow, sheep, and goat, and venison, and any other ruminant animal. But if you don't know what a ruminant is, just only eat beef, sheep, and goat. If it's available at your supermarket, and plus salt and water. That's the lion diet. That's only really the lion diet's only for people with severe inflammation, severe autoimmune diseases, multiple autoimmune diseases. You might need to do 90 days or longer of the lion diet and then decide, am I going to go back to stay on lion, which is safe to do for life, or am I going to go to carnivore or ketovore? I don't know. But for people with severe autoimmune conditions, they need the lion diet to start with. Great question. Great question. All right, guys. Now I'm going to ask you for a favor. All 3,700 of you guys, please click the share button right now and share this video on your favorite social media. Why? Why do I keep asking that? Because there are people in your friend group on social media who are suffering from severe type 2 diabetes right now. If they watch this video, they're going to know immediately there's hope. He said I can reverse type 2 diabetes. I did not know that. My doctor didn't tell me I could do that. My dietitian never said I could reverse my type 2 diabetes. There are people with severe fatty liver right now. They're developing NASH, non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. They're going to develop cirrhosis. You can stop that in its tracks and reverse it back to a normal, healthy liver by hitting the share button. And then watch this video and go, I'm going to see if he's got any other videos about fatty liver, because I do. I got about 20. Reverse it, keep it reversed for life. People with severe obesity, they're like, I'm going to have to take Ozempic. I got no choice. I've tried the DASH diet. I tried Weight Watchers. I tried Nutrisystem, Slim Fast. I tried all that. None of that works. But they've never tried a high-fat carnivore diet. They don't know how much weight they can lose. They've never tried a high-fat, meat-heavy ketogenic diet. They don't know how much fat they can get off their body. But if you click the share button and they see this video and they watch this snippet, they're going to go, really? I'm going to check that out. And you just literally changed the trajectory of someone's life from a nosedive to the graveyard, or a nosedive, even worse, to the nursing home. Now they're back outside. They're out back playing with their kids or grandkids, kicking the soccer ball. They're going to the park, going for a walk. They're joining the gym because they feel so much better. That's what happens when you share this video. So please consider it. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm gonna, if you're watching this on the replay, look in the show notes and the PhD coaching certification program. There'll be a link in the description. But if you're watching this live, it's not there yet. Give me 10 minutes and I'll put it in there. Okay, because some of you guys are called to be a health coach. Some of you are not. That's fine. You just want to help reverse your mama's type 2 diabetes, and then you're happy. And that's totally fine. Please help mama. She does not need to suffer from type 2 diabetes. But some of you guys feel called in your heart. I want to help a lot of people reverse type 2 diabetes. And I'd like to make it a career. You're our kind of people. So watch for that link in the show notes. All right, guys, that's it. I'm out of here. Thanks for hanging out with me. Hit the thumbs up or the heart on the way out. This is Dr. Barry. I'll see you next time.